Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Game Week 33 Deadline stream in partnership with FPL Team. And it's live. Sorry, I'm late. I'm jet lagged. Sorry. I'm back from Frankfurt and I'm still in Europe. Over the next 51 minutes or so, I'll be trying to get through as many of your FPL dilemmas as possible ahead of the 1:30 p.m. UK time double game week 33 deadline. Firstly, the graphics take you through what I'm doing. Top right hand corner of the screen, you'll see my team. 2 free transfers used. Arteta and Saka in for Howe and Palmer. I line up this week. Pickford, Munoz, Castagne have picked over Kirkes and Colwell, Vardiel, Saka, Vice, Salah, Bowen, Murphy, Mateta, Isak, Captain, Marmouche in reserve, Fabianski, Cliver, Kirkes and Colwell. I've only gone with the 2 free transfers and the 2 Arsenal players because I've actually left with a decent 9 as it stands for next week. Intention, if I can get through the weekend with no injuries, take a -4 and run through game week 34. Whereas, you know, I've been saying for a while, I'm going to have to wildcard in game week 34. I think I might be able to make it through. And the additional information for game week 35 is important. And I think if I have to pick a wildcard team, I'm kind of going against quite a bit of the free hitters next week. So go aggressive 2 1-week punts next week is the intention as it stands. Bottom right hand corner of the screen, you'll see my predicted lineups for all 10 teams. To the left of me, you'll see my top 10 captaincy picks in order of preference. It's Marmouche over Saka over De Bruyne over Salah. For me, in terms of top 4, wouldn't really consider anybody else from that. That will rotate with my correct score predictions for all 12 games in the double. Right at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the ticker for remaining fixtures and all the flag players. Above that and right below me, you'll see the benching dilemma screen where there are 2 players together. The player with the tick is the preferred option to start. They run in order pages 1 to 4. Left to right, you'll find some goalkeepers on page 5. That's the graphics done. Let's get into your questions. Good luck, everyone. Tommy Gonzo says, morning, James. Final decisions on free hit. Bowen or Rashford. Also need a striker to play with Marmouche 3-5-2. Or do I just go 4-5-1? If so, which 4 defenders? Also, match day vlog for the Bodo away game. I probably won't get a ticket. I can say for advanced and intermediate plus tier patrons, some point tonight, it's going to be about a half-hour video of my trip to Frankfurt. Around the city, outside the ground, inside the grounds. Happy days. A good away day, actually. Right, I tell you, if I was on free hit this week, this will cover a lot of questions now. I would go probably Martinez in goal, Saliba, Kivior, Vardiol. I would go Bowen and Saka. I would go Morgan Rogers. I would go Saka and De Bruyne. And up front, I would go Mateta and Marmouche. And I would captain Marmouche. That's the 11. I'm near enough roughly what I'd be picking if I was on a free hit this week. Billy Taylor says, yes, Jimbo, hope all is well. Would you take a -4 to go either Savinho to KDB or Asensio to Rodgers, or take no hits and pray? Excuse me. I probably would chance Savinho to KDB, but also strategy here is important, right? Whatever you buy for City or Arsenal could become a problem once you sort of hit game week 35. Less so with City players. I'd probably go KDB. Burke says, hi, James. Would you bring in Bowen and Arteta for Foden and Glasner -4, or Milenkovic and KDB for Gabriel and Foden? More power in the manager, mate. That's what I'd be doing. Colin Johnson says, hi, James. I'm considering 35 bench boost now with 2 Forest, Areola, Isak. I'll have Dilemma on bench in 35 with Forest 33 away, Spurs 35 away, which, mate, no doublers on bench either. It depends on the whole of your team, Colin. I cannot possibly answer that. What you're saying there, 2 Forest, Areola, Isak on the bench in 35. So Forest are at Palace. My son is on one today. Brighton away, and West Ham have got, what, Tottenham? Yeah, probably 35, mate. But I can't see the rest of your team, mate. Surely you ain't benching Isak. 35. Gavin Richardson says, hey, James, do you think Tonali could pip Jacob Murphy to this year's Ballon d'Or? Massive game for us this week. Game of the weekend, in my opinion. Away the lads. Come you Spurs. Yeah, sure, mate. Spooky Sorcerer says, hi, James. If we get a leak that Savinho isn't starting, would you still play him, given that it's double game week, or play Murphy? I mean, if it's confirmed that he's starting, then I would play him. If not, then it's kind of 50-50, isn't it? And I'd probably side Murphy if you've got the information. Obviously, look, there is a chance that we'd get the Man City team. Shout out for our patrons watching along live. If we get any team news leaks, please drop us a tag on Slack and I'll get it shared with the people in here. Daniel McAdams says, I'm all set for 33. We'll free hit in 34 and a 5-3 transfers now. What's the best transfer to jumpstart 35 and on? Can I be honest, Daniel? I'm probably going to wildcard in 35 and I even looked at players. I'm just going to skip it, mate. I'm really sorry. I wish you good luck this week. You're in a better position than nearly everybody. Z says, hi, James. What factors should one consider while deciding between KDB or Bowen on the free hit 34 strategy? Well, till the end of the season, I guess. Is it a player that you want to move on? Harry! Jesus. Why'd you put your headphones on, James? KDB or Bowen? Sorry, I'm right distracted by that. Bowen, I think better till the end of the season, mate, in the sense it would cover all of it, that KDB could have double 36 if he keeps playing great, but I don't think we can be sure about that, right? Nicky Kassam, hey pal, good luck this week. Do you think a -4 for Burns Saliba is worth it? It would mean benching Conser, free hit 34, so it's a defective over Conser. Probably not, because I think Conser's one of the few Villa I'd be semi-confident maybe gets 2 starts. Dazar9 says, afternoon, James, free transfer used on Arseman. Would you go Marmoush for Isak -4? Watkins and Mateta, my other strikers. Again, like, no. If you want Isak for 34, then no. If you're free hitting 34, you can probably do without him, but there's every chance you're not going back. How do you feel about that? If you're okay with that, go for it. LP says, hi, James. Would you go KDB over Saka if it meant saving a transfer to get to Bumo for free in game week 35? If it meant saving the transfer to Bumo in 30, I would prioritise what's right in front of your face, mate. There's some good news for Arsenal in 35 in the sense the PSG games are a Tuesday and a Wednesday, either side the Bournemouth game. So you might get a slightly stronger side than what we'd have expected, but I would say there's still every chance Saka would get rotated in that. Yeah, if you're running through, possibly preference KDB, mate. Uros Milicevic says, hello, James. I'm looking to sell Cole Palmer this game week. Would you buy De Bruyne, Saka, or a different midfielder, given the rotation risk? Free hit 34, Arseman 35, 36. Look, again, for this week, preference Saka. If you want to run through and hold on and you're going to need to make other transfers, KDB might actually be a safer play. But we should also remember with KDB, none of us were sitting here last week and I think I'm going to put KDB in, you know. One really good game. We know how consistent Saka is as well. I do think De Bruyne probably plays the semi-final, but it is next Sunday. Could he start twice this week? Yes, maybe. Same with Saka, isn't it? I think I'd be prioritising personally what's right in front of my face, and therefore that would be Saka, just marginally. My toast says, hi James, Livramento, KDB and Vissa, or Ruben Rodgers and Isak. I know option 2 is extra fixture, but option 1 saves Isak to Vissa down the line. Worried about no Rodgers this week. Stress about it. You had no Rodgers this week, you probably had no Rodgers most of the season, maybe, mate. So he's not exactly killed, is he? I see lots of people fretting about, oh my god, I'm gonna have to bench Jacob Murphy. I mean, yeah, it probably doesn't continue based on the data, I would suggest. Ruben Diaz, Rodgers, Isak, Livramento, KDB, Vissa. I prefer the option with Isak and Rodgers, I think, mate. Thank you, this afternoon, James. KDB, if leaked, versus Bowen, and Sarr versus Diaz. These are the only 2 decisions I have for free hit 33. I wouldn't go Diaz on free hit, mate. Could he be a sub? It's a great fixture, but could he be a sub? It's a 1-pointer. Sarr will outscore 1 point, surely. Yeah, I would go KDB over Bowen, mate. Curry says, hi James, finishing off Arseman now this game week. It's here. It's each for their own, right? And I have wildcard and free hit left, but don't have time to deep dive. Wildcard 34 seems straightforward, but is free hit more suitable in 36 or 38? Depends on your lineup next week, mate. But I think free hit 34, wildcard 35 is going to be better for you, I think. Fancy Fluke this afternoon, James. Would you play Murphy over Isak or transfer out Murphy for Rashford for -4? Someone asked me this yesterday about playing Murphy over Isak. And I said, do I need to answer this? You know what I'm going to say? And they went, you're going to say Isak. I said, so what did you ask me for then? I kind of feel the same about this one. I'd just play Isak. I'd be more than comfortable playing Alexander Isak in any fixture at any time. Have we decided Jacob Murphy is now a better asset than Alexander Isak because of recent returns over 2 random game weeks? Is that what we decided? Okay, sure. So we think Jacob Murphy's now like worth like being a 10, 11 million pound midfielder, I take it. Interesting. Florentine P says, hi James, Livramento to Wan-Bissaka for bench boost. Yeah, that's fine. He'll play. Pretty confident of that. Vertica says, sell Gordon to Bowen. That means benching one of Elanga or Semenyo, or just roll the transfer and play both Elanga and Semenyo. Keeping Gordon will mean a hit in game week 34 if he won't start. I think Jared Bowen's going to be really popular over this run in. I'd get ahead of the curve on that, mate. Excuse me, Paulie G says, hi James. Non-FPL question to kick things off. Tell us about your away day in Frankfurt. Thoughts on the City team stadium. City, great. Stadium, amazing. Good club. Football team, average. I know that because we deserve to win. From Melbourne says, evening James, Palmer to Saka, Rogers. If you want a lot more on Tottenham, that's probably be Tottenham. Because I imagine me and Clates do a podcast on Patreon this week because he went to Madrid as well. So we can be weirdly happy together. Ian from Melbourne says, evening James, Palmer to Saka or Rogers -4, not intending to captain either. Leaning more towards Saka. Thoughts? I think you've answered your own question, Ian. Good luck, mate. FPL Borat says, hi James, what would you put on a percentage there being at least one double in game week 36? I'm tempted to bench boost this week, play 9 players in game week 34 and save my free hit for 36, 37. Percentage chance of at least one double in 36. Of at least one. Somewhere between 80 and 90%. Probably, of at least one. And I do think if it's City Villa, it probably will still be 2. I think most other options, it's probably 1. And if it's Palace Forest, it might be none. That's kind of where I'm at with it at the moment. Jack says, hi James, looking to bench boost 33. Currently have 3 Palace, 3 Newcastle and Palmer. Which should be the priority for moving out? Not Palace. And it depends what the Newcastle is, right? So if you've got like Barnes, Murphy, Isak, I'm going, yeah, it's all fine for this week, mate. Palmer obviously allows you to get to Saka, presumably, so that's probably the priority, or KDB. FPL Uproar says, good afternoon, James. Would you start Murphy or Asensio? I know you said that's a fire engine not caused by my son. Good afternoon, James. Would you start Murphy or Asensio? Asensio double, mate. Yeah, Asensio starts for at least 1, right? And you've got, and he's shown you can return off the bench as well. So yeah, Asensio, mate. To be honest, the only ones where I wouldn't go to doublers is things like if it's like Conser versus Isak and stuff, like, or like Lacroix against Isak, I'm probably going with like Isak. Ross Cordingly says Murphy to Rashford or a Man City mid and bench Isak or just play Isak. I don't mind the Murphy to Rashford move. That's fine. Again, if you are free hitting 34, if you're not, I wouldn't do it. Samson Barreto says Saka or KDB covered. It's going to be Saka, guys. If you're worried about the long term, safer play may well be KDB. But if you want, for me, the higher returns this week, it's Saka. But I'm not doing any more Saka v KDB. Grant Gospel says Bowen and Diaz or KDB and Kirill for bench boost. KDB and Kirill, mate. Ali Bismo says, hey James, non-FPL question. Want to say good luck first. Do you think Arsenal could handle PSG? Or is it more likely to get outplayed across both legs? Oh, Arsenal can definitely beat PSG, man. No doubt about it. They don't, obviously. John says, sells to Raya from -4. Wildcard 34. Thanks. If Forest keep a clean sheet at Tottenham on Monday, he'll haul. You're looking at a 9-10 pointer. Raya won't outscore that. Not by 4. I would think, truthfully, sells on Monday night is a 2 or 3 pointer, most likely. Raya across the double is probably 8-9. So, yeah, probably, I suppose selling it like 6 up, he's only gaining like 2. Like, is it really worth it? No, I'm not convinced, mate. Scott Parks is on bench boost with 2 free transfers and can't afford Murphy to Rogers and Foden to KDB. Would you go Foden to KDB and bank a transfer, or go Murphy to Rogers and Foden to Bowen? I don't like that. I don't mind that second bit, particularly if you've got Marmouche and Vardy as your City coverage. J23 says player Langer or Barnes. I think Barnes will play again. He's on a bit of form. Villa and potential highlight. Yeah, probably Barnes, mate. Ryan Max says, hi, James. Glad you enjoyed Frankfurt. Sell the legend is Jacob Murphy for Roch. Excuse me. And bench is out a roll transfer. Cheers for the great content. Again, Rodgers worked for you towards the end. If you're running through, I mean, the effective, it's not Rodgers over Murphy in terms of your team. So it's Rodgers over Isak. Yeah, look, I think Rodgers gets good minutes. I probably would do it personally. Sean G says, hi, James. I'm feeling taking a punt on KDB. I would choose 2 free transfers. Gordon to KDB and Isak to 8.0 or less. Thinking Cunha or Wood. Free hit 34. What are your thoughts on best Isak replacement to end of season? To end of season from right now, yeah, be probably between Wood, Visser, Cunha, Larson. Probably from that group. And it's not... I don't know if any of them got the kind of explosiveness of Isak. That's all I'd sell on that, right? If I was going right now, I probably would go. I'd chance Cunha. I think he'll play tomorrow with his Bellegarde doubt. I'd chance it with next week in mind. If you're free hitting 34, I wouldn't go to Wolves player. I'd probably go Visser from that lot. Gavin Richardson says, I was going to ask you who to bench out Salah, Isak, Sarr, Rodgers or Murphy. But it's a mad question, isn't it? Can't believe I'm going to bench Lionel Murphy. It's the only answer, mate. Ayub Seller says, hi, James. Do you think Trossard will start twice this game? And who will play up top for West Ham, in your opinion? I think I've got West Ham back to... It will come round on the screen. I've got them unchanged from the team that played Liverpool, is my prediction. Do I think Trossard will start twice? Maybe. It's possible. Because I don't think he starts against PSG, so it's possible, isn't it? Depends how, does Arteta want to pick a team at some point this week that's set for the PSG game? Bearing in mind, like, Partey's suspended, Jorginho might not make it. Like, I don't know. So I don't know what the impact is on Trossard of that. Eddie R says, my best guess would be probably no. Eddie R says, hey James, bench boost 33, free hit 34. Thoughts on Rashford over Rodgers if chasing? Either are fine for chasing. Also, I booked flights to Bilbao to avoid price rises. FPL finally coming in handy. So do you reckon I've jinxed us for the semis? I will not be doing any such thing at this moment in time. CMP says, on free hit 33, last 2 decisions are Rashford or Eze and Watkins or Mateta. Rashford, Mateta for me on that, mate. Ben Eddington, if you've got triple captain left, is this a week the best time to use it? I ain't got a crystal ball, Ben, but I would say yes. Steve J10 says, hi James, could Saka be a season keeper or worth the risk to avoid and save the transfer layer? Need transfers for Arsenal 36-38. Well, you got Liverpool away, which might, well, he's obviously going to have a Champions League semi-final 4 days before that. Bournemouth game's possible for rotation. He doesn't play in 34. Like, are we sitting there with like a Saka's essential? Like, no, feel like it maybe for this week, but not beyond. John Cantrell says, Ortega in for Bruggen for a -4. Man City goalkeeper in for a -4. There's a really important thing here, John. Like, have you got any chips left? Have you got a wild card left? Edison might even be back in midweek. I doubt it, but he might even be back in midweek. Pep hasn't said how long he's going to be out. And isn't Ortega just going to be a big, massive headache problem for you moving forward if Edison is back? I would not be doing that, mate. Aiden says, hi, James. On bench boost this week and free hit 34. Kivior and Rashford or Konate and Trossard. Kivior route. Subliminal Punker says, hi, James. Ranked about 300k. Do you think Saka is a more upside pick? If chasing him in a mini league, it's either him or Marmouche. To be honest, I don't know what the captaincy... guys, I've got to be really honest, right? Wednesday to sort of yesterday afternoon, I've been completely out of the loop in terms of FPL, in terms of what people are planning to do this week. So I have no idea what the polls have been suggesting from the big content creators this week. But I would have thought there's every chance Saka and Marmouche. I think probably Saka, Marmouche, Salah probably all over 100 EO would be my guess. So don't think there's any free hit without those 2 players, Saka and Marmouche. Salah's naturally going to still have some serious ownership anyway. So I think, look, whatever you hit, if you have a captain that does well this week, whoever it is will do really well for you, I think. Others may hurt. Stiar says, thoughts, Livra to Saliba, play Salah and Isak, or Livra to Saliba. So both Livra to Saliba, mate. It's no need for that. Murphy to Rogers. Bench Isak Rogers double game week versus Isak single game week. It's a long way around that, mate. So I mean, one's got Salah in and one hasn't. What's happening with Salah in the other one? Steve, that's a little confusing, that question, mate. On the face of it, preference for doublers. Martin Cumberland says, would you bench boost with Sarr, Wan-Bissaka, Aït-Nouri and Murphy? Yes. Do you know what, guys? If you're in deliberation about whether to do it or not, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Sack it off, mate. If it's a crap, it's crap. Just get rid of it. It's going to restrict you so badly on this running. Jaden says, on free hit 33, Eze and Munoz or Bowen and Bradley. That's interesting. Preference with doublers, but it's not a lot in it. Dazara9 says, if you had to go 5 defenders free starting next week for free hit, who are you going for? Can add keepers if happy to. If I'm to go 5 defenders free starting next week for a free hit, I mean, look, next week I think free hit would be something like Bradley, if we think he's still going to start again, Livramento and Aït-Nouri, and I'm not really bothered talking about that anymore at this stage because it will certainly get covered during the week, mate. Jaden says, on free hit 33, if I just covered you, Danford, play Isak or João Pedro, Isak. Elliot says, hi James, who do you think will win the Champions and Europa Leagues? Manchester United in Europa League. Genuinely. Or Athletic Bilbao. I'd make us third, I think. I can understand why we got the favouritism at the moment because the draw, although Bodo are not to be underestimated. Champions League, I have the slight favouritism for PSG as it stands. But I think it's quite a refreshing looking Final Four. They're all capable of winning it. All capable. I'd probably make Inter the biggest outsider at the moment, I think, of the 4. FPL Rebels says, thoughts on Trossard Mins in double. Covered that kind of recently for someone else. James Wright says, triple captain Marmouche. Yeah. I don't be waiting, man. You wait for 36. City might be in the cup final. You don't know how much they might rotate. Haaland might be back. The system might change. They might have top 5 wrapped up. Kovkan says, hi James, 10 doublers. Is it worth taking a hit or 2 to get Savinho or Rashford or Bowen for Murphy and Virgil for Trippier since Newcastle fixtures getting tougher anyway? Again, strategy is really important here. If you're free hitting 34, then fine, you can get rid of your Newcastle. Otherwise, no. Sounds like you really want to get to 11 doublers, and I can understand the appeal of that. Savinho, get Savinho or Rashford. I mean, not buying Savinho now. I presume it's Rashford for Savinho. If it's Rashford for Savinho, I don't mind that. Snicker says, hey, James, worth -4 for Murphy to Rashford Bowen. Already have Rodgers and free hit 34. Yeah, I think, like, interestingly, I think to Bowen pays best on that till the end of the season. Dag Stenhaug says, afternoon, James, I'm on free hit and need a 5th midfielder. Should I go Bumo or Diaz as a punt this week? Don't want any piece or Villa, or any Palace or Villa. Look, if you're punting Luis Diaz and it's on a free hit, I'm okay with that, and I probably would make that call, but you gotta know he ain't a certain star. That's all I'm gonna say. Pug says, hi James, on bench boost with free hit next week, have free transfers, so burn Livramento and Isak to Vardy, Bradley and Cunha, or just burn to Bradley and roll. It sounds like a lot of moves just to put Vardy in. Burn to Bradley, mate. Curry says, do you honestly feel Amram and his team deserve a lot of praise for the comeback midweek? Conceding 4 straight is abysmal. Look, I've only seen the goals basically from midweek, so they deserve credit for the comeback, although you also have to analyse it and say, how did they end up in a position where they were 4-2 down against 10 men from 2-2, right? How did that happen? And they were 2-0 up. So, glass half full, glass half empty. You have to view that both ways, but I would certainly say to Manchester United fans, you should absolutely celebrate that victory in midweek, and don't worry about what people on the outside are saying. Meninda says, Salah to Saka if you want to captain him. Only route to him and chasing. Was going to take it on, but Arteta comments on getting Mins have me considering. No, I wouldn't do it, mate. again, particularly, I mean, if you're not free hitting next week, are you happy to do Salah for the rest of the season? Be a nightmare to put him back in, probably, mate. Abdul Hamid says, "Good day, James. Congrats on the Spurs win. Thank you for the content. Everybody, smash a like. Yeah, smash a like. Hit the sub button, everybody. Be truly appreciated. It's about 20% of you have done it. Doesn't cost anything, guys. If you could smash it, if you could smash it, you would, wouldn't you?" Deep breath, James. Luke Stevenson says, "On free hit 34, should I sell Murphy for Rashford and bench Isak, or play Isak and roll? Rashford a better pick this week, but Newcastle on fire. An extra 2 weeks info could be good. Already got Rodgers. Think you answer your own question and stick with Isak. King of Mandalore, Savina to Bayern for -4. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not for a hit. I'm not so keen on that, mate. These City players. I don't want you to so, but Kalen says, "Hi James, my prediction is that Arsenal win both games this double and City win neither. In those circumstances, would you still go Marmoush as captain?" You're under a circumstance where, I mean, like, I'm only predicting City to win once, and I'm predicting Arsenal to win twice, and I've not really wavered all week in terms of Marmoush, in terms of captain, to be honest. Never really given it more than a minute's thought since kind of last Sunday night. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I even thought about it again. Gavin Richardson says, "Heard a rumour that if you don't smash a like, you'll get no Easter eggs this year. Smash that like, y'all." Thank you, mate. Keras95 says, "Hi, James. What are the best defensive options for Burn and Livramento for bench boost, trying to avoid hits further along free hit 34?" In the immediate, the problem is the ones you want to... So, like, you're not going to get up to, like, Liverpool and stuff, are you? Bradley, I think if you're looking a bit longer term, you can't really... do anything. Sorry, I was just reading the message. Doesn't matter. The enabling ones, here we are, make a case for the enabling ones that are good on the stretch aren't great this week. But I think things like Nico Williams, Nathan Collins, Aït-Nouri, Agbadou, but none of them are spectacular this week. You need something that's really good this week as well. Arguably, it's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, mate. Nihar says, "Hey James, I'm on bench boost 33, free hit 34, 2 free transfers, use one to do Barnes to Rodgers. Would you do Murphy to any mid under 6.4? Just keep him and use the free transfer on transferring out a Forest defender on bench boost." That Forest defender is going to be really useful for you in the running, probably more so than Jacob Murphy, so I'd keep hold of that. Patrick says, "Hi mate, hope the Thursday hangover isn't hitting too hard. Got one free transfer ahead of the not so big double game week. Is Savinho a worthwhile transfer out considering Bowen as an option?" So someone asked about a -4. Free transfer. Yeah, genuinely I'd consider it. Howard Green says, "Murphy to KDB, Dunk to Conser, Murphy to Rodgers for free." Yeah, fine. Tropical says, "Visceral Wood in on free hit 34. Preference is actually Visser, I think, slightly at this moment." LP says, "After disaster bench boost in 32, notice my team looks okay for 34 without free hit, playing 10 with majority Newcastle, Brighton, Wolves and Forest players. What do you think about saving free hits 38? And again, it's whole team dependent, isn't it, LP? But yeah, sure. I've spoken about it a number of times this season being a get out. Newcastle, Arsenal, Bournemouth kind of treble up at the end. Khalid Skaney says, "Hello James, I'm on bench boost. Have double Villa including Rodgers. Would you do Palmer or Isak to Rashford or Watkins for -4 to get to 12 doublers? If so, which?" No, probably not. Neither. No. Again, I don't know what your strategy is next week. So if you're not free hitting next week, it's a definite no. Greg Williams, this afternoon, James, 20.7 million to replace Palmer, Murphy and Robinson would be -4 and free hit 34. Have Saka. Cheers, mate. I'm not sure what your question is, Greg, so I'm just going to say good luck. Achum says, "I'm triple captain this week, Marmoush or Saka." Yeah, you'll know my feelings by now. Big Chief says, "Hi James, free hit 34. Who is the priority midfielder this week and why?" Common sense says Saka, but seems boring. Then if you think it's boring, do something else, mate, but it's probably the right choice. John says, "Hi James, Sells, Murphy, Livramento, Hassan on bench boost now, risk 36, wildcard 34, 1k overall. Cheers." Yeah, as I said earlier, just get rid of it. Kofkun says, "Triple captain Murphy went smooth as silk. Thanks for not convincing me to give up." Well, I didn't press the buttons, mate. Well done. FPL Borat would like everyone to smash a like. Thank you, mate. King of Mandalore. With Spurs pulling the defensive masterclass. The one game out of thin air on Thursday, plus the competition looking relatively weak. How confident are you that Ange can get his second season trophy? Let me just enjoy Thursday night, mate. Fred, the answer's not. Let me just enjoy my night the other night. Frederick Hertz has got to 10 doublers plus Salah. Bench booster Variola, Wan-Bissaka, Livramento, Isak. Hits for more Villa assets don't seem worth the risk. Have a good one. Okay, good luck. Uros says, would you do Asensio to Rodgers for -4? No. Chris Hermitage, would you do Livramento to Bradley? Free hit 34 and I can bench Bradley going forward if Trent is back. Cheers, PS like the stream. Thank you. Yeah, I don't mind it, Chris, if you can get away with it and you can kind of hide it to the end. You're unlikely to be on a Liverpool treble up for the running. I don't think so. It's okay. Alex says, I have 2 free transfers, one more doubler spot open. For Murphy to Rodgers on bench boost this week. Free hit next game week. Should I pull the trigger on the transfer or bank it to navigate 36, 37 potentials? Yeah, go Rodgers. Rodgers potentially going to be good for you in 36, 37 anyway. If it's 2 singles, he's fine. If it's a double 36, you're still going to want him. So, yeah, it's fine. I go Rodgers. Big Chiefs is way too vanilla for end of season, it seems. It's always the same, mate. If you don't like it, do some different things. It's very, I don't know what people would sit here and go, oh yeah, I think you should go Garnacho. Like, what are people expecting? The choices are fairly obvious, I think. Charlie Edwards says, hypothetically, how many Saka minutes would it take to tilt the captaincy for him over Marmoush, in your opinion? 120, 150? I don't think it's necessarily about the minutes in a weird... I just think Marmoush should do really well this week, actually. If you said to me now, right, Saka's going to play 180, well, we've got to obviously have a strong thought about it. If you said 150... that's roughly what I generally think Marmoush hits that number roughly. So I don't think it would change it. Marv FPL says, who would you prefer on free hit 33? Bowen and Watkins or Rashford and Visser? Thanks, James. Best FPL content out there. Bowen. I do think Watkins will probably start today, so I'm Bowen route. Sponsored by Reality. Hi, please can you give a yes/no? Can I just say, by the way, when you type in capital letters, it actually makes it more difficult to read. Can you give a yes/no to Bruno to Saka KDB? Yes. Kluivert to Rodgers Rashford? Yes. Robinson to Saliba Kiwior? Yes. Cole to Bradley? Yes. Thank you. Rodgers to Rashford? Rodgers. Robinson to Saliba Kiwior? Yes. Cole to Bradley? Yes. Why did you have to put that all in twice, mate? Cheers. Tetok Song said, just pick your favourites out of them, mate. Tetok Song says, bad dilemma. Bench boost 33, free hit 34, free transfers. Have Martinelli and triple Newcastle on the bench. Should I switch Martinelli out for Kiwior to try to bring in Bowen, or just do the boring Rodgers chasing rank? Why you'd be sitting there with Martinelli, who could be an outstanding differential? Don't get me wrong, there's every chance it's like a 3-pointer, but someone who has the potential to go off. Why you would be thinking of moving that on right now? You're trying to chase rank. Not many people are going to have Gabriel Martinelli this week, mate. And he's an attacking player for the team that's got the best double. I don't know why you would want to move that on, personally. Torfig Yusuf says, hi, James. I have Watkins and Rodgers. Need extra villains mid Rashford or Asensio. Rashford preference. Jamie Collo says, hey, James. Play Konate, Milenkovic, Vardiol and Glasner. This isn't a play, is it? To Arteta, buy a defender, maintain Glasner's manager. What's going on here? Prioritise manager, mate. And I'll be moving to Arteta. Howard Green says, smash the like and hit the sub button for free, you lot. Cheers. Makalaz says, hello, James. Hope you're well. I have 10 doublers. My bench is currently Ariola, Isak, Murphy, Burn. Is it worth it to bench boost? Should I save it? Get rid of it. Andy Potter says, is Palmer to Saka worth it, as Palmer may be more mins than the next two, not using free hit in 34? No, honestly, truthfully, if I was in a position where I was like, I'm going to be in trouble for 34, I would just keep Palmer and not bother. There's every chance with my -4 that I'm going to go Saka back to Palmer this week. So I've factored to next week. I've factored that in my buying Saka this week. Is almost, I think, not only does he outscore Palmer, but I think he does it by 5 or more this week to make that justifiable. I kind of need it to probably be more than that. There's no guarantee I'll go back to Palmer, but I did factor that into my decision. Sorry, my friend from overseas. I can never remember your name. I'm absolutely terrible. Sorry. Hi, James. We'll do Palmer to Saka. I'm thinking about a -4 from Murphy to Rodgers or I am playing Isak. Newcastle's history at Villa don't help. Keep in mind, free hit 34 and 500k rank, so I want to push. Newcastle won at Villa last season, mate. It was the best away performance of last season. I mean, yeah, get it done, probably. Copcon says, the likes, everybody. Smash the button. Good luck, everybody. Dazzer9 says, Pickford, Concert, Bowen and Watkins. A good bench boost for 35. How you got Jordan Pickford as part of your bench in 35, mate? Who's your other keeper? I mean, just off the bat, I don't know which goalkeeper you'd be picking in game at 35 that is better than Jordan Pickford. I'm being serious. Concert has got Fulham at home. Yeah, it's pretty good. Bowen's Tottenham at home is great. Yeah. Watkins, minutes debate, obviously. Probably okay. Fulham at home is a lunchtime game, isn't it? 35 weeks break. Yeah, it's great, mate. But I'm not sure that's your weakest 4 players in that game week, mate. Don't bench players when they're playing at home at Tottenham. King of Mandalore says, bench 2 of Bradley, Isak, Savinho. Ignore if on dilemmas. I play the attacking players, mate. Jerry Dahmer uses, hello Jimbo, thoughts on Spurs getting Bodo Glimt, which looks way easier than Man United versus Bilbao. This will be a cakewalk for Spurs. It won't be, mate. When was something a cakewalk for Spurs? Patrick Clivert says, hi mate, love the content. KDB and Marino, Saka and Rashford. Free hit 34, bench boost this week. Oh, God, that's a toss of a coin. I think I probably prefer Marino over Rashford, so that influences it. Tropical, when and who to triple captain? Omar Mamouche now. Callum Nag says, hi James, if you still had Foden, what would you do with him? Can move to Saka, KDB or hold the transfer on bench boost? Thanks. Which will fire him out about a cannon, mate. Yvette says, triple captain or not this week? Could free hit 34, but could also play through and kick? The answer is yes. Eshan says, thoughts on KDB captain? Fine, if that's your preference. Gavin Richardson says, an Easter question. I don't need to ask who Spurs' biggest Judas is. So which Spurs player came back from the footballing dead to resurrect their career at Spurs? I think it's Joel Linton for the turn. Musa Sissoko kind of springs to mind, actually. Not to the extent of Joel Linton, admittedly, but probably the one off the top of my head. Miguel Kaleja, thank you for signing up on Patreon. I see you, my friend. Hi, James. I'm thinking of skipping Saka and getting KDB and Trossard for Palmer and Murphy. Or Bowen and Trossard if KDB confirmed not to start. False. Nothing much to add, mate. Sounds like a decent plan to me. Either way, I only wish you good luck, mate. Reminder to our patrons, if we've got any information coming in on potential team news, please drop me a line on Slack and we'll share it with the YouTube community here. We are 14 minutes from deadline, guys. Begin to get the bus teams locked in. Make sure you're happy with your captaincy choices, all that jazz, etc, etc. No, Ryan, it hasn't. Rick D says, hi James, glad you enjoyed Frankfurt. You may want answer this before you get to it. Best Villa attackers for free hit 33. Cheers. Rogers. I don't think I'd be bothering nothing else, mate. David says, similar circumstance to you, James. No Arsenal, 1 transfer at the moment. Had Pickford, Robinson, considering bringing in Saliba Rare from -8. Notice you haven't gone for it. What's influenced you? Explain that right at the start, David. Daniel Rigelski says, currently on bench boost 33, free hit 34. We've planned Palmer and Livramento to Bowen and Van Dijk. Worth to do -4 from Murphy to Bumo. Any other single fixture? No. Jamie Williams says, hey James, any reason not to use triple captain Mamouche today? No. Sam Watson says, hi James, hope you're well. Worth to, yeah, same answer. Kofkan says, hi James, 10 doublers. Is it worth taking a hit or two? I feel like I've already answered that question. Good luck, mate. Andrew Yusuf says, thank you for the great content. Likes everyone, please. Plan is to captain De Bruyne if any leaks that he starts. Any opinion to go just for Marmouche? I'm only 11. I mean, that's who I think the best choice is. So naturally, that's what I'm going to say, right? I don't know your circumstance if you want to go against a head-to-head rival or something, but yeah, I'm going Marmouche. I think is the best choice. That's what's on screen. Gareth Payton says, hi James, thoughts on going Watkins and Rashford for free hit. My only real alternatives are Bowen, Diaz or Eze in midfield, and then Mateta as the forward, where I could pick a 4th defender. I covered what my free hit team would be right near the start of the stream as well. Ralph Freed says, hi James, any punts for this week? Jared Bowen. Russell Baker says, hi James, congratulations. If wildcard left and bench boost, would you get VVD and Bowen instead of Saka and go Cunha 34? Play without keeper, wildcard 35 to get Saka and wildcard 34. I don't like Brentford v Forest 34. Yeah, but I wouldn't let that influence the decision, mate. But I feel like if you've got the wildcard left, there's way more reason to go for Saka. JP says, who would you get in for Gabriel under 5.5? Kivior. Rumble Fish says, hi James, Foden and Palmer to Bowen and Diaz. That's what I'm doing. Feels fun. Good luck. MVS says, good afternoon. 1 free transfer on assistant man. How? Free hit 34, wildcard 35, bench boost 36. Is it worth doing how to Arteta? Yeah, that's the priority, mate. Palmer to Saka, De Bruyne, Gabriel to Diaz from -8. Have 3 Arsenal now or something else. Love your streams. You're very welcome, mate. How to Arteta, Palmer to Gabriel to Diaz. Yeah, I mean, Gabriel's got to go, hasn't he? Sorry, you've written Diaz with the Z. So it's Ruben Diaz, obviously. I'd probably say yes, to be honest. Callie Hoster says, hi James, should I bench boost this week at the cost of -8, -12 here and have 10 doublers or take a -4? I would say the same that I always say, mate. If you're taking the hits directly for the bench, not the team, but directly to change the bench, I would want to score an additional 4 points for every hit. So my goal on a bench boost would be 16. You're taking a -4 for players to replace players on your bench. I want 20. Taking a -8, I want 24. Now think about it. Chim says, best single game week defences on bench boost, specifically under 4.8 or 4.5, depending on if I sell 8 Norrie, Liver or both. Could be Villa also, but already have Consa. So it's the obvious ones, isn't it? So Aaron Wan-Bissaka, West Ham is the standout. There's not many others that are really cheap you'd fancy. Brentford player maybe. Nathan Collins, I'm not even sure what price he is. Mikalenko. I wouldn't be surprised if Everton kept a clean sheet this week. But this is the area you're playing in. It's West Ham players ultimately if it's for this week, mate. Next up, CM Punk 2310. Look in my eyes. Murphy to Rashford. Paul Heyman's he's going with Seth Rollins, isn't he? I think that's what I think is happening. Murphy to Rashford. Have I just ruined that? I don't have ITK on FPL. Never mind WWE. Murphy to Rashford Asensio or Murphy to Isak to KDB Wood/Visser. All 3 transfers. Wood Visser to be benched this week. What? Murphy to Rashford or Asensio or Murphy Isak to KDB Wood Visser. Right, okay, now I understand. So you're trying to force transfers in to put KDB in. Right, okay, I understand. Free hit 34. Just the top bit, mate, I think. Murphy onto whichever Villa play, probably Rashford. Neil Kager says, good morning, James. Happy Easter to you and your family, mate. I see you, Neil. Thank you for your support always, mate. Have a good one. Theo Cruelty says, hi, James. Congratulations on Spurs win. Would you say bench boost 38 is a viable option or a lack of motivation, rotation risk? Make it too difficult to predict. I would not be plotting for a bench boost in 38, mate. CJ Stuck 07. Hi, James. I'm on bench boost with Areola, Bowen, Livramento, Consa. Would you sell Livramento for this week? As I'm free hitting in 34. That's one hell of a good bench boost, I would say, mate. Yeah, sure. If it's for free only, though. Serban Turtis says start Murphy or João Pedro. I would go João Pedro, mate. Jack says, oh, no, where's Jack gone? Oh, no. Sorry, Jack. I'm going to find you, Jack. I just realised I sounded like I was in Titanic. Jack! Thoughts on Saka as a long-term option until the end of the season. I've covered that, Jack. Sorry, it wasn't worth the wait, was it? Tet Oxsong says, Isak out to try and get KDB in. Would bother. Definitely not if you're not free hitting 34. Sean Limbrick says, James, any other weeks where a bench boost looks decent? I play bottom of the league in my main head-to-head league this week, so probably don't. It depends on your team, doesn't it, mate? Come on. Good luck, Sean. Johnny GJ says, good afternoon, James. Considering a free transfer move of Palmer, Sarr, Livramento to KDB, Bowen, Kilman or Mikalenko. Obviously like Kilman for this game, but also like Miko for yeah, but I think West Ham's run's good. Kilman's fucking boring though, mate. Although Mikalenko's not much better from that perspective. Thomas Thornton says, is it worth a -4 to get rid of Glasner for Pep? Still got bench boost to use and would get rid of Murillo. Yeah, but I'd go Arteta, mate. Rewind says, good luck this week, James. You're a legend, mate. Thank you. Best of luck. Jerry Domerue says, with Amram saying he'll shift the focus for the Europa, do you reckon Ange would do the same, play the kids? No, not so much, because the spacing. We may do at the end, like if we have to play Villa on the Sunday night, say we got to the final. If Man City get to the cup final, say if the FA Cup final is Man City against Crystal Palace, we have to play Villa away on the Sunday night, 3 days before the final. I don't even want Ange to go. Just take the under 21 manager, under 21 team, go. Just sack it off. Just completely. Don't care. Lose 8-0, whatever. Just sack it off. Manager shouldn't even be going. Never mind the players. But other than that, I think West Ham 35, you're going to get some rotation, clearly. 36, 37 is obviously going to depend on what happens with the semi-final. I think you're going to get, for the Forest and Liverpool games, probably kind of what I'd call like a three-quarters team, I think. So it'll be close to first choice 11, but minutes will be very carefully managed. That's what I would expect. Euro dances Murphy to Rogers and Burns to Ruben Diaz -8. Worth it. Murphy to Burns to, not hugely in love with that, to be very honest with you, I'm afraid to say. Sorry, shitty answer, but that's how I feel. Dan Butler, 1 free transfer on bench burst, Canate and Livramento to Bradley and Kivior, or just swapping that Canate and Bradley about ain't worth it, mate. Canate can be better hold for you, so yeah, just the other one, mate. Moonman says, cheers from Canada legend, Cucurella, Murphy, Asensio, Isak to Kivior, KDB, Saka, Delap, -8. The Delap call is interesting, isn't it? It's an additional hit needed, isn't it? Can you stretch out the Visser rather than Delap? I prefer. I'm going to guess probably not. Taking the Asensio out as well. I mean, it probably pays, but I don't know if you're giving yourself a bigger headache for afterwards, mate. Hornet says, hi, James. Hope you've recovered from Thursday. I didn't drink that much. Like, I wasn't pissed Thursday night. Hope you've recovered from Thursday. What are your thoughts on taking a chance on James McAtee over go to one shit Man City asset to another one? Look, if you can hide him on your bench for the rest of the season, but if City do double in 36 and you and McAtee's like not playing at all, that's another 2 transfers, because you ain't McAtee to who at his price value, mate. I wouldn't be doing that. Rackshit says, hi James, thoughts on Marino this week? How many minutes do you think he gets? 33. I think it'd be pretty strong, 120ish. And I think he's fine actually, as per the captaincies. Tekka's Song says, already have Martinelli, really want Bowen, can't get in with Murphy directly. Would you drop Isak down to Visser or Wood to try to get Bowen in, or just kick Isak and do boring Rogers? Yeah, boring, sorry mate. Big Chief, how do you feel about being the FPL king now that Mark has joined the dark side? Definitely I'm not that, mate. I don't bother with any other creators anymore because your stuff is so comprehensive. Love your work. It's appreciated, mate, but I'm definitely not the king around here, mate. Joel07P says, hi James, for my last Arsenal player, would you choose between Marino and Martinelli? Marino, preference. Alden says, good afternoon, James. I'm bench boost this game week, free hit next game week. Would you go Burn, Murphy, Savinho out for Diaz, Rogers, Rashford for a hit? There's upside in it, yeah. Simply Sesh, hi James, would you do Son to Bowen? Do you know what, mate? I'd do it for a -8, mate. Did you notice on my team? Nah, do you know what? Don't do it. You know what I'm about to say. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. The Atmos says bench boost 33, free hit 34, option 1, Rashford and Wood, Visser plus Canate for free, or option 2, KDB and João Pedro and Konsa Kilman for -4. What you selling, mate? KDB option. FPL Alex says, hi James, I'm on bench boost this week. Have 10 doublers in my team, only Salah with the single bench, Raya, Isak, Livramento, free hit. 24 would be interesting. I thought I'd go 23 for shits and giggles, mate. 2 transfers, sell 1 of the bench for a double. I only have 2 Villa and 11. These long questions of brain damage. Sorry, Alex. I've kind of lost the will to live halfway through it. That bench would be getting bench boosted, mate. Bottom line. Greatest maths. I see you. Change your name. I'm going to mute you. Yeah. There you go. Little bit of warning. There you go. Little bit of advance warning. Got to think the kids, you know. There's no fucking swearing here or anything like that. Good morning, James. Whom do you regard as the optimal third man? I don't fucking optimal, man. If I was Vardy, KDB, and Marmoush, mate, I literally would have next to no interest in any other Manchester City player. David says, yeah. Yes, Tanky, it was, yes. Pete92, yeah, Harry's got a tough captaincy dilemma, quite right. Thomas Fordson, alternatively, I can get rid of Saka for, I can't remember what your first point was, mate, but good luck. King of Mandalore, I feel overwhelmed and I'm not even in the room. It's all good, mate. Kalia Hosta, yeah, probably. No, Norris, I wouldn't captain Bowen, despite me being quite high on him. We are 2 minutes to deadline, guys. I've got nothing in terms of leaks at this stage, but I'm going to apologise to the mountain of people that I've not got through on terms of questions, because it does feel like if there's any information knocking about, it feels more important that I share that to you if there's anything coming in, but it doesn't look like it as far as I can see in terms of team news at the moment. We are under a minute from deadline, guys. Captaincy, for those late joining, preference is Marmouche, then over Saka, then over De Bruyne. That's my top three. Free hit, if I was doing it this week, would be Martinez, Saliba, Kivior, Vardiol, Bowen, Salah, Rogers, KDB, Saka, yeah, them two, Mateta and Marmouche. I don't think there's anything coming in, guys. Clock is ticking. Yeah, don't think so. Doesn't look like there's anything going round. I got it at 7, 6, 5. KDB and Savinho start has just come in FPL main road, like on the buzzer at 1:29. KDB and Savinho start from FPL main road, which is normally pretty reliable. Jeez, it's late, isn't it? I literally couldn't have shared that no quicker, guys. Sorry. But I think that was the right thing to do, just in case there was anything. So, yeah, right at the death. Sounds like Savinho starts for Manchester City. I do hope that person who's asking me about Savinho to McAtee did not make that move. Okay, guys, if we've got any non-FPL questions, throw it in the chat, and I'm happy to cover them off. I'll tell you what, we'll do the 145 teams together. I'll do questions up to then, and then we'll do the team news and we'll finish it now. If you came just for the FPL stuff, smash a like, hit the sub button, be truly appreciated. If you want to support the show, or if you can support the show, please only do it if you can afford to. It's www.patreon.com/planetfpl. Do it to help us keep the lights on, and because you want to support the show, or if you want access to the additional content, which, as I said, once I align the mess, because it's Easter weekend and obviously Nico's not working today. Shout out Nico if you're watching. Why would you be? I need to sort out this away days video. Hopefully I'll be out for advanced and intermediate plus tier patrons late tonight. I think is probably going to be the plan now. Next week's content, I can tell you, be Game Review Pod Tuesday, Clayton and James Show Wednesday, Clash of Correspondence Thursdays, Wolves versus Leicester, Bradley Parker and Sam Martin, Ask James Friday, time to be confirmed, and there'll be podcasts as well. Q&A Tuesday, probably going to be Tottenham Ask Wednesday, Gameweek 34 preview Friday, probably be Money in Football Thursday, might be a quiz. I need to think about it. That's the absolute. I really have not I just wanted to enjoy myself, and I did. So all got to have. We all have to have some me time in our life sometimes. I appreciate that, Thomas. Thank you, mate. Yeah, good luck to you too, Ryan. Theo2303 Theo2303 says, if Ange wins Europa, would you still want him sacked? Where I'm going to be cheeky here now. Where have I said that I want him sacked? Where have I said that? That's all I'm going to say. I think it's inevitable. I think my opinion is kind of irrelevant about it, because there has been such an overwhelming feeling against him from within the Tottenham fan base that's moved over the last 6 weeks or so, that there's no point in him staying. But if the fans wanted to give him almost like a second chance if he won the trophy, then I'm fine with that. I just know that when you've got this kind of negativity, there can be no... It's like with Ten Hag and United last year, right? The conclusion feels inevitable, right? Whether you like, dislike. I'm sure there's United fans who felt this time last year kind of how I felt. Almost like it's wanting to work, and it's also knowing that your eyes are kind of not deceiving you, like it's not going. So the one thing I hold on to, and I think any of you watched the game Thursday would see this, they're not giving up on him, the players. All these shit results, even like Wolves, I don't look up none of the games. Oh, we've down tools. The problem isn't down in tools. It's actually been tactical. It's down to a lot of Angie's work. But I think the players still believe in the methods. They put in a hell of an effort Thursday night, right? And that was really needed because the collective kind of apathy around the club's been really bad, right? So look, it was one good night. I think Frankfurt was shite. I think very average. And I think we have to factor that in, that ultimately, even if we win this competition, which is a chance, our route to the final is going to have been Alkmaar, made hard work of that. Frankfurt, that's mid-table Premier League, I think. The boy Ekiteke up front's great, and a couple of good midfield players. They're worse than us defending set plays. It's not often you see that. Nearly all of our good chances across the two games were from set plays and balls into the box. Just didn't deal with them at all. And then, a Norwegian team, right, who have done incredible to get to this stage of the competition. It's not the hardest path, is it? No, I can recognise that. So let's see. I think there's every reason to say that if he wins the trophy, we should all be thankful. He wins, we win, and we part ways, and Tottenham can approach a certain calibre of manager, because obviously under that circumstance, we'll be playing Champions League football next year. And from a selling point, that means you can go to a higher level to what you potentially want to acquire as well. So I think the right thing for the football club would probably be to split. I wouldn't be surprised if he won the trophy, if he resigned himself and went, you know what, fuck it. And you know what, I wouldn't blame him. And if he wins the trophy, he'll get himself another job, whereas we've said recently, I think he's going to struggle to get another job at this level. If he's got Europa League on his CV, different game. Who's next? I've missed a load here, sorry. John Long, confident Spurs win Europa, James. Result against Bodo, World Cup. Confident winning the competition? No. I think I'm not going to bullshit you and say that I'm not confident winning the semi-final. I am. The bookies have got us like 1-4 to reach the final, right? So, yeah, I know what that means from a percentage chance of winning. So we're big favourites of qualifying. So it's right to feel confident. Doesn't mean you're underestimating the opponent. Not at all. Particularly their home results are over a number of years. Beat Roma 6-1 there a couple of years ago. They're not a piss take side, right? And they've got here on merit, beating a few good teams along the way to get to this stage, right? So good luck to them, except in the semi. But yeah, it's right to think we get to that. Am I confident of winning the competition? No. It will be kind of an away game, whoever we play. Obviously, it's Bilbao Stadium. But United are also going to play there in the semi-finals. So they're going to be so used to it already. Their fans, therefore, a number will have all the information on the city ahead of us. Yeah, we'll be underdogs in the final, I think, if we get there. Nectarius94 says, you ever travelled to Australia? Who's your favourite Australian footballer? Have I ever travelled to Australia? No. My favourite Australian footballer is Massimo Luongo. He's the only one I think has played for Tottenham. Can't think of anyone else. I think peak Harry Kewell was a super player to watch, the player that was at Leeds. So I'll say Harry Kewell. Gavin Richardson says, non-FPL, Spurs and Man United both make it to Europa League final. Might the cup refuse to be picked up by the winners? That would be an interesting final for the fans of those clubs. Conflicted. Was you going for a joke here, Gavin? I don't think it came off, or the way I read it didn't work. Keras95 says, why do you reckon Spurs won't win Europa? I've just said, surely they make the final. This is definitely not surely. We are favourites, no doubt. Yeah, beaten United 3 times this year, but 2 of them were kind of an irrelevance from Amrim. Look at what Amrim did in the 2 away games to Tottenham. in the league and the League Cup quarter final, and the first one was against Ten Hag. So it would be typical Tottenham. But there would be an element of confidence playing at United. But I just think when it comes to the big stage, Tottenham don't have a reliable match winner like Manchester United have Bruno Fernandes as well. I'd rather play Bilbao, personally. But I'm layering that from the aspect of trying to get flights and a hotel and not doing what someone said earlier and said I've booked it all, because I don't intend to do that. Should we win like a first leg 4-0 or something, then there's a decision to be made, I think, because I know that everybody else will be doing it. But we'll have a think. I also may be going out for longer. I'd probably warn you all now that there's a fair chance there'll be no content that week. Because I might be going for like 4 days, and I'm doing me. I have to do me under that circumstance. And if I go on the Monday, I don't know how I can potentially even line up content for the week, considering I'll be at Tottenham on the mind you, we wouldn't be on a Sunday. Wait, so between 37 30, maybe. Well, all the games are on a Sunday, aren't they? Yeah, I'd have to think about it. I don't know, but yeah, take that as a warning. Dan Butler, if 2 get in, who does better in the Champions League? Spurs, Forest, or United? I mean, it won't be Spurs and United. Let's just treat Forest as an individual case. I imagine across the route, Forest would have one brilliant result against a big club that they'll kind of enjoy. But it will have a limitation of what it can be, I think. There isn't any real experience in that squad of playing at that level. So I wouldn't expect Forest to go deep. I wouldn't expect them to finish bottom 12, but you would think, yeah, they'd hit the playoff round, and then kind of depends. It depends on the draw from that point, right? But could Forest reach a quarter final? Yeah, a few things going their way. Yeah, sure, why not? In terms of Tottenham United, who would do better? I mean, difficult to answer in the sense. I don't know who's going to be our manager. Is a key point here, right? My instinct is us, and purely because I think, and I had this discussion with Suj a few weeks ago where I gave some praise to Manchester United, actually, talking about leadership qualities, particularly of Fernandes, quality of the manager. Our rebuild has started, I think. I don't particularly think Manchester United has. I think it had started, but then you shifted to a back 3 manager, so you're starting again. So I think Tottenham are a little bit ahead in terms of some of the planning. And obviously Tottenham could appoint Glasner as a back 3 manager, and Tottenham have to start again. So it does depend a little bit on that. I do think there's also an element that some teams find playing against my team particularly surprising, because of the intensity of it, and the intensity of the movement off the ball of players and rotations is unusual. It's overcommittal, but it's also unusual, and some teams do struggle to come to terms with it because you don't normally play against something like that. Most teams get one look at us and they're maybe in trouble, and then the second time they tend to sort it out. That's how it's felt here anyway. Johnny 5 says, hi James, what changes to FPL would you like to see besides Arseman? Not a lot. It's not that deep for me, mate. Sorry, it's a regular question. Sorry, I give the same boring answer, but I'm not suddenly going to come up with something radical. I just play the game over. They do it, mate. Vindaloo says, hi mate, non-FPL, Foden, Palmer and Watkins. Is their form related to last year's Euros in your opinion? Cheers for the content. I think you can spin these narratives either way with so many players, but it'd probably go one further, and because we had this question about a month ago and said, who from England's squad has had a better season this season than last season? I'll leave you to think about that one. You don't have to put the answers in the chat, but who from England's squad last summer, has had a better season? The whole squad. Who has had a better season last season than the season they had last season? I know the majority are struggling. Oh, I've got one. Okay, good. You've got one. Well done. Rhinos, no, I'm not a fan of VAR now, and I wasn't a fan of VAR. Suddenly it's a thing. I wasn't a fan when Sterling scored in the last minute and the Etihad went mad. but it was disallowed. Allay, allay, allay. No, no. The decision went in my favour. It's useless. The only way I knew what was going on, I'm obviously in the stadium. The only way I was looking on our Slack community to see what our patrons were saying, and they were all saying it's a penalty. So I was quite hopeful that the decision was going to get made. It's a penalty, isn't it? I don't think there's too much doubt about it. So yeah. Would I prefer a world where it wasn't given and we didn't have VAR and my team would be out of the competition now? Do you know what? Yeah. Fuck VAR. Head DM says, hi James, WrestleMania match you're looking forward to. Also Cody Cena, who you think is winning? The one I'm looking forward to. I have to remember the old card now. And do you know what? I did look at it this morning. It probably is the triple threat tonight, probably. I think so. Even though it's weird, they put something together that it feels relevant, even though there's not anything on it. It's interesting. I guess it's just the power of particularly two of the people involved. But I think the third person in that is the one who's going to win it. I think Cena will do it. I think it's all scripted. Obviously it's scripted, but I think it's all been scripted for quite a while in terms of what Cena's plan would be. And I think part of that script is surely him winning it at some, even if it's not now, coming back to it, and breaking the record for titles. So yeah, I think Cena wins it. Let's see if we've got some team news coming in. Well, answer Simon Bibby's question though, Bud. How many Arsemen points did Hal net you in the air? That was 23, mate. Oh, on top of the week before. So it was 11, it's 34 points. Fucking brilliant, isn't it? 34. So, I mean, if you'd have said at the start of the path of the 2 weeks of Hal and then Arteta, and you said, would you be happy with 34 across the 3 weeks? Yeah, I'd have taken that, I think. Roughly, yeah. 3 wins, a draw, and a defeat, roughly, yeah. So, yeah, so he's hit that already. So, that's great, isn't it? It's every chance. 2 wins for Arsenal is going to, it's almost certainly going to, in fact, it does guarantee the topping, hitting 50 minimum, doesn't it? So, it's worked out. It's worked out fine. Right, teams. Sorry, I knew I was meant to be doing something, but got distracted. While I'm doing that, let's say John O'Bro will be the last question I cover. No, that's not official FPL. Official FPL. Brentford. Coyote starts at right back. It's a start for Yarmuluk in place of Yanel as well. So yeah, Christopher yeah is a sub. So too Vitaly Yana. Okay, interesting. Brighton. Mitoma is only a substitute. Van Heck obviously back in alongside Dunk. So it's still João Pedro, Welbeck, Minter, possibly O'Reilly in the wide positions, maybe, although we'll certainly play it very inside. That might be a change of system for Brighton. Balaba, Vifa, and O'Reilly all playing. Could even be a wider position for João Pedro, maybe. I wonder if that's a 4-3-3 looking at it. Everton is as you would expect. Breuer starts again. The Man City lineup is Ortega, Nunes, Diaz, Vardio, O'Reilly, Gonzalez, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Savinho, Bernardo Silva, and Marmouche. So the changes from last week. Nunes, Ortega obviously in. Bernardo Silva for Kovacic, isn't it? Savinho for McAtee. Palace, Wharton Hughes is the midfield 2. Jefferson Lerma is the sub. Rest of the team is what you'd expect. Bournemouth, Justin Kluivert, that's good news for me thinking about next week. He's back in the Bournemouth starting lineup. Start again for Dango. Alex Scott starts as well. That just feels like quite an offensive team that from Bournemouth. Semenyo, Kluivert, Utara. Still got Evan Nilsson in, obviously, so It's Adams with Scott in midfield. Lewis Cook is a substitute. Adam Smith continues at right back. Zabani back in as expected, in place of Senesi. West Ham is a start for Nicholas Fulkrug. Looks like a back four. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Fucking hell. He's not in the West Ham squad. Jeez. It's Sufal, Kilman, Tadibo, Emerson, back four. Wood-Prowse, Soler, Paquetá, Kudos, Bowen, Fulkrug. Southampton team is the team that I had up, except it's on Uachu instead of Dibbling. That Wan-Bissaka news. Yeah, all the signs were from Potter on Thursday was like, yeah, okay, he's got a bit of a problem, but probably be fine. Right, let's wrap through these and I'll spend some time with my mad boy. Where was I up to? Where was I up to in the questions? Nectarius, you ever traveled to Australia? Oh, I answered that one, didn't I? James Lovegrove. Simon Bibby done. James Lovegrove. Hoping Rollins wins. Looking forward to WrestleMania this year. Have a good one, mate. You too. Ian from Melbourne. How does the journey to Boda Glimp look? Well, it's probably not on because I don't think I'll get a ticket ultimately. We'll get about 400, and I don't think I spoke to anybody in Frankfurt that wasn't intending to try and get one. And many people know I've had Bournemouth and Brentford. I've not been able to get one last couple of years and stuff, so can't see it. Can't see it. If it'd been like last 16 or something, I'd probably get one. I need one of them things where it's like pick the ID up out there, pick the ticket up out there, give me a little bit of a chance. If it's not that, I've got no chance. But if I get one, it's out on the Wednesday, back Friday, via Oslo. It's on, but I don't think I'm going to get one, mate. Jack says, hey, loved your Titanic reference when you lost my question earlier. Made me wonder what are your top favourite films. Jack. Top films. I'll name a foe. Usual Suspects. The Dark Knight, the film with Heath Ledger is fantastic. Skyfall is the best Bond film in my opinion, but I don't get to watch much shit anymore. Is the honest answer. So there's few from a few different eras for you. I took a girl to see Titanic who pleaded with me to take her and then decided to tell me about 2/3 of the way through, which I'm guessing was about 2 hours in, because it's a 3-hour film, that it was the third time that she'd seen the film. And I don't know if she went with other boys where she'd been previously. Spooky Sorcerer says, thank God I started Savinho then. Yeah, there you go. Ryan says, I really wanted to get Savinho, but the leaks were too late, so just got Rodgers instead. I hope it doesn't backfire. Gavin says, has there been a Spurs team squad that you just loved? Current Toon team is dripping with cult heroes and a bit of stardust. They are competing with the entertainers for me. Yeah, the final White Hart Lane team, Gavin. Thomas Thornton says, what are your thoughts on Liverpool win the league again next year? We will buy probably 5 to 7 players with a few deadwood leaving. I have high hopes myself. I think we know Liverpool need a rebuild. Ultimately, the answer to this question is how well that those new players fit in. Ultimately, that will be decisive. They'll need to hit the ground running quite fast. But it's a unique situation where a team's going to win the league and we know they need a rebuild and it looks like they're going to do it. It's every chance Liverpool kick on again next year. But you can't afford to be in a position with, we lost 3 of the first 7 and now they're gelling. Like, too late. You're in massive trouble. So it depends who those players are and how well they settle, mate. And we can have all the theory in the world. No one quite knows how that works till we see it. Adam says, hi, James. Have you got Andy Martin booked in when Leeds get promoted? I saw Andy Martin... and the patrons are going to see this in away days tonight. Andy Martin features in the away days video in Frankfurt because I saw a bust of him. That's like a statue, not a bust, yes. In Frankfurt, and I thought he looked like Andy. so that looks like Andy Martin. In Frankfurt, he doesn't really, but it was just the beard. Love Andy. King of Mandalore says, ignored your advice and went Bowen to Savinho for a hit. Feeling good about it despite Savinho starting. But let's see. Reckon you end up looking right as usual. I'm wrong a lot, mate. CG stuck 07. Did you catch highlights of Bilbao Rangers? Seems Rangers were hard done by, and after beating United 3 times this season, surely you'd be quite confident. Difference between confidence and fear. So, not being confident doesn't mean I fear. Like I wasn't confident on Thursday night, but they didn't scare me, and I didn't think they were going to. It was more about, listen, if my team performs in the way it can, good chance. It'd be down to us. And at that level at the end, we're less trustworthy ultimately. Teams available. Would a team be fit in a couple of weeks? That would be helpful. Ski House 78 says, do you agree that some clubs are known to have a play style which fan base over generations expect? Do you think Man City fans will expect similar play style from future managers after Pep leaves? No, not necessarily. Look at Arsenal fans after Wenger. Like, I think it's fair to say in terms of attractiveness for the neutral Arsenal fans, feel free to disagree, no one cares. But in terms of to the eye for the neutral, we enjoyed Arsenal more then, but also maybe enjoyed it more because they were more calamitous and made more mistakes and stuff, right? But I think even the speed of the football, when Arsenal were really good under Wenger, but then you knew they'd cock it up in the away game the next week. I ask Arsenal fans, are they that bothered that they've not got Wenger ball anymore? I think most would say probably not. So no, not particularly. I think like Chelsea fans are kind of trying to adapt from kind of a siege winning mentality to something that's a little bit more possession orientated. I mean, ultimately, if Chelsea winning football matches, still somewhere between the in between, we weren't bothered so much about the football style. I think Tottenham and West Ham would be 2 examples, and I think Newcastle would be another one where there's kind of a demand to want to play a certain type of attractive football. But ultimately, if the team's winning games, no one will give too much for a share either. So no, I wouldn't read too much into that. And almost the worst thing they could do is just go for kind of Pep Mark II, because it will probably be worse. They'd probably be better off doing something that's quite different. Toby Tilley's asked me about Declan Rice, but Declan Rice, okay. John I know bro says, do you see assistant manager being a permanent part of the game and we have won all season? Don't know. I'm sorry. Whatever they do. So many times you can answer the kind of same question on that. Like they'll take the feedback, they'll decide what they decide, and that'll be, if they keep it, they keep it. If they get rid of it, they get rid of it. I'd bin it, and that's also coming from someone who's, it's obviously gone alright for me, right? Yeah, exactly, Jonathan. King of Mandalore says, deliberated Wan-Bissaka versus Kilman on bench boost. No prizes for guessing which way I went. Horrid. Yeah, I feel for you there on that one, mate. I think, yeah, there wasn't a reason, I think, to believe that Wan-Bissaka wasn't going to play, unfortunately. That's the way it goes. Okay. Lots of love. Have a great weekend. Everyone's reminder, it is bank holiday here on Monday, so I'm taking a few days now. And Suj, I presume, will be doing the Game Review podcast on Tuesday. Smash a like, everyone. Hit the sub button. Hope your arrows are green. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter for those celebrating. Ciao for now, everyone.